I'm Gary, and this is Coasting with Culture, which is all about combining theme park visits and riding roller coasters with various cultural experiences around the world. It wasn't that long ago that Pennsylvania had seen a bunch of Buzz Bar members come for a visit, and yet they were coming again, only this time on the western side of the state for an event led by the ladies, as it has become a new tradition of the club. But first we'll fly on over to Pittsburgh and head on up to Erie for a stop at Waldameer, then return to Pittsburgh for a chance to enjoy one of the best ballparks in the country. As someone who's been a coaster enthusiast since I was about 10 years old, and attending events with fellow enthusiasts since 2006, it was hard not to notice the imbalance in the number of men and women who were attending these events and tours. I don't say that as a critique of the hobby, but rather as an observation that in many ways it feels like a male-oriented one. But it's neat to see that the Buzz Bars are looking for more ways to involve women in these events, including the creation of Gerbils, or Girl Wobbles if you will. It all began with the first Gerbil being hosted at Cedar Point in 2023, when several of the ladies of Buzz Bars got together for a weekend of coaster riding fun, and while all are invited to join, they were the ones who planned the event and led it, as a way to try and get more of them involved in future events. As a follow-up to that first one, Gerbilsburgh was planned to be a sequel held at Kennywood in Pennsylvania, and the weekend's festivities would also include a night at PNC Park for the Pittsburgh Pirates game versus the Minnesota Twins. I definitely decided to keep my eye on this one when my ability to travel was improving, and in an effort to help the cause of the event, I invited my friend Brittany, who you may remember from our visits to the Washington State Fair and our trip to Tennessee back in 2021. Unfortunately, she had to back out at the last minute due to work obligations, but I know for a fact that she would have enjoyed coming along for this adventure, and I'll be trying to see if we can get her to future events. That being said, since I already had the flight over and the hotel booked, I decided to keep it on the calendar and also made plans with others who were going to be in early to add a couple pregame stops at Waldameer, a park I hadn't been to since 2005, and an additional Shameless coaster stop along the way. And for this trip to Pittsburgh, I was flying with a very familiar airline. Oh, no, not that one. I'm talking about Alaska. Now granted, it's been a while since I've flown with Alaska Airlines, and something else that's been a while since I've had the chance to do it, flying in first class. It was a beautiful time getting those upgrades with Alaska and be able to enjoy that seat up front with the premium service. I got a notification from Alaska that they had a special deal on an upgrade. I thought it'd be worth the upgrade for a more comfortable experience getting to Pittsburgh. There was an added bonus for this flight because the Boeing 737 MAX 9 we were taking to Pittsburgh had the special West Coast Wonders livery, featuring orcas which were meant to inspire efforts to find more environmentally sustainable practices, which has been a focal point of Alaska Airlines, such as with their use of compostable cups to serve beverages in, including the pre-flight champagne in their first class cabin, which was a bit unusual, but I'm not too fancy to worry about the type of chalice it's served in. This was also my first time flying the newest version of the first class cabin, featuring Alaska's newest seats. So already I kind of like the new seat because it kind of folds to my back perfectly. It's really comfortable. I also appreciated that the USB and electrical outlets were angled toward you, making it easier to connect for recharging, especially for ensuring that I had enough battery for capturing the moments that came during our flight, as our departure path was such that I was able to admire my West Seattle neighborhood at night from above on the way out. And as we veered east, we could see the faintest bit of glow from the sun on the other side of the earth. With one last farewell to the greater Seattle area, it was time for that signature Alaska first class experience, including a complimentary beer and their fruit and cheese plate, something I always look forward to when joining my personal favorite airline up in the front of the plane. I didn't really get the best sleep on this flight, but at least gave us a pretty awesome and scenic sunrise arrival into Pittsburgh. Since we landed pretty early in the morning, I wasn't expecting anyone to be ready at that time. So I made my way over to the hotel, figuring that at the very least, I could chill out in the lobby for a couple hours, rather than just sitting in Pittsburgh's airport. They had a room available for me to take advantage of, so I can go ahead and get checked in right away, which is very nice because I don't have to try and figure out where to snatch my bags. I can go ahead and take a nap and a shower, which are always very much needed after red-eye flights. So I'm ready to get some sleep, and I did not sleep at all on that flight. After a few hours to relax and grab a shower, MZ and Brian made their way over to pick me up so we could roll on up north to the city of Erie. The first stop of our pre-Gerbil adventure was to the classic amusement park, Waldameer. So walking the grounds of Waldameer here, we have a first-time visitor in Brian. We also have another first-time visitor in MZ. And I myself haven't been here for about 19 years, so it's gonna pretty much be a new park for me as well. But really looking forward to getting a chance to see what Ravine Flyer II is all about, because that's the one everybody praises. However, I think we're going for a different one first. And that first ride was the classic smaller Herbert Schmeck wooden coaster, Comet, which isn't going to be among the highest rated wooden coasters in the world, but it has a lot of classic charm and a smaller size that could make for a great first wooden coaster for younger riders. So for many a year, there's been this legend about the Ravine Flyer, the first that was built in this park many years ago. And when I came to this park, you could not ride the Ravine Flyer, for it had been gone for so long. However, there had been a follow-up to it. And while I didn't get the chance to ride it back 19 years ago, I was not as shameless as I am now. But today, I am more than shameless enough to ride Ravine Flyer III. This Miler coaster might have had one of the neatest placements, with the fountains it rides alongside and through. And while I might have skipped it before, I wasn't about to make that mistake again this time. There was one coaster that remained from my past visit to the park, and that was Steel Dragon, which was the first Mauer Ride spinning mouse I ever rode. And I remember being really surprised by their use of high bank turns, including the one that gets quite close to 90 degrees. I've had a chance to try several others from Mauer since then, which has led to it becoming one of my favorite variations of the spinning mouse coaster. The spinning would continue from there, as they were right on the verge of opening Whirlwind, their SBF Visa spinner that was a new addition to the park since my previous visit, adding to the long list of Visa spinners ridden over the years. The main reason to visit Waldameer, though, is their larger wooden coaster, Ravine Flyer II. This was the fourth coaster designed by Gravity Group when it opened in 2008, and had a lot of hype surrounding it. But did it live up to that hype? Real talk. Holy smokes, this thing is crazy. This is such a good ride. The airtime hills on the other side of the bridge over the roadway there, the turns, the twists, get some good laterals going on. This thing was definitely a great surprise. I mean, I've heard a lot of people talk about how good this thing is, but I don't think I expected it to be that good. This is definitely a contender for the best wooden coaster in Pennsylvania, and maybe even worthy of being ranked very high on people's wood coaster lists. Definitely one to check out here in Pennsylvania. Having ridden all 5 of the park's coasters, the 3 of us enjoyed a couple other rides, including the Bill Tracy dark ride, Wacky Shack, which was as wacky as I remember it being before, and even has a little dip in the course akin to others out there. We also took a ride on Thunder River, the park's log flume, which isn't highly themed, but I forgot that you get a little wet on this thing. Yeah. With a good soaking, we decided to take one more lap on Ravine Flyer II in an effort to dry off a little. So a quick visit to Waldameer, but for the sake of getting a chance to try out Ravine Flyer II, absolutely worth coming over. This is a really charming park, and I think a lot of folks may not realize just how nice it actually is until they get a chance to visit.
So I would certainly encourage that if you find yourself in Western Pennsylvania, come on up to Erie and give Waldameer a shot. But for now, we've got a stop to make on our way back to Pittsburgh because it's time to get shameless.
Leaving when we did was also a great call, as a fairly large thunderstorm rolled in and would have drenched us far worse than the log flume. After that bit of excitement, I took the opportunity for a quick snooze to help make up for the lack of sleep from my flight, but we'd soon be in Cranberry Township for a quick stop at Fun for All, a family entertainment center which had what would be the most shameless coaster of the weekend in Fiesta Express.
Yes! We have done it! Another +1.
Since Eric and his son were rooming up with me in the hotel near the airport, I hopped in with them from Fun for All, and we made our way south and into the heart of Pittsburgh, a place Eric once called home, so he prepared me for one of the coolest city reveals I've ever seen from the road. And it wasn't long before we passed by the evening's destination. Before going out to the ballgame though, we'd head into downtown Pittsburgh, which I'd never been before, but it was neat to join a local for a bit of a tour, including a stroll over to PBG Place, a 6-building office complex created by the Pittsburgh Plate Glass Company, featuring some incredible architecture that utilizes a massive amount of glass. And its plaza that sits right in the middle features summertime fountains and an ice rink in the winter. Right next door, we'd grab a bite to eat at a Pittsburgh institution, Primanti Brothers. Since its creation in 1933, the regional chain has offered a variety of sandwiches made with 2 large slices of Italian bread and a batch of fries put in the sandwich. Going with the steak and cheese, I was definitely a fan right off the bat. After a quick bite, it was time to head over to meet up with fellow Buzz Bars for an evening at the ballpark as the Pittsburgh Pirates were hosting the Minnesota Twins. Heading to a ball game in Pittsburgh wouldn't feel complete without walking across the bridge named in honor of one of the greatest to play the game in a Pirates uniform, Roberto Clemente.
What's up, man? How you doing?
The venue Roberto stands outside of, PNC Park, is often rated as one of the best stadiums in Major League Baseball, and had been near the top of my stadium bucket list for a while, so it was great to do so as part of this weekend. There are a few things about this place that will certainly inspire a childlike wonder in visitors, especially when it comes to its incredibly scenic setting alongside the Allegheny River, with downtown and the bridge in the background. Eric pointed out to us a mural on one of the buildings which features the faces of Roberto Clemente, Andy Warhol, and Rachel Carson, who are the namesakes of the trio of side-by-side yellow bridges, including the Clemente Bridge we crossed to get over here. Deeper into the contest, I was really hoping to find the notorious pierogi hot dog that was a new food item for the 2024 Pirates season, and my search for it gave the opportunity to appreciate some Pirate baseball-inspired art around the ballpark. Unfortunately, it wasn't at the location I thought was offering it, so I decided to make do with a decent alternative over in Pop's Corner, which had a Chickies and Pete's, a place known for their awesome crab fries, at a Pittsburgh brewing-made lager called Iron City Beer, and I was a happy camper. I may have just gone to the wrong side of the ballpark for finding those pierogi hot dogs, but at the very least I could still enjoy the pierogi race that the Pirates games are known for as part of their in-game entertainment.
Yeah.
and when it was all said and done, a routine fly ball to right field would seal it for the hometown Pirates over the Twins. And the celebratory fireworks served as a precursor to the larger Friday night fireworks show that followed, lighting up the Pittsburgh sky.
3, 2, 1.
It was a really fun evening out with the buzz bars before the main event would come the following day, and it didn't seem like anything could put a damper on it, save for the ungodly 2 hours it took us to get out of the parking garage because of traffic. Still, to make a return to a smaller classic Pennsylvania park for an outstanding wooden coaster, followed by a shameless coaster stop and a few tastes of Pittsburgh culture, was an excellent way to start what was looking to be a great weekend. And the good times would continue the following day, with the buzz bars being led by the ladies to take over another classic Pennsylvania amusement park. Thank you for watching this video from Coasting with Culture. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and click on the subscribe button to see future videos here on YouTube, like these ones which you may enjoy as well. Additional content can be found at coastingwithculture.com, and you can also follow Coasting with Culture on various social media channels at CoastWCulture for announcements, previews, and updates. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, take care and safe travels.